Okay guys, going to take a look at the Auscision model's EL61 freight locomotive. We'll be installing a DCC sound decoder. The decoder that we're going to use is going to be one of these, the loksound decoders. Now I've done a bit of research and I think the sound files, the closest to there will be a V12 7 FTL 12 GE series. We'll have a look, we'll open it up. We've got the little sugar cube speaker there, but I think we're going to do the same as what we did with the others and just put a 20 by 40 type speaker in there, or see what we have in the little speaker box, so to speak. Let's get on with it and get it open out of the box and see what we got. Okay, so I've got it out of the box. Let's have a quick look at what she looks like. So extremely heavy locomotive. I think this thing will be an amazing puller. So this locomotive does have DCC already installed. We're just gonna open it up and upgrade it to a DCC sound locomotive. Guys, I've had to move my base of operation, so the angle here might be a little bit awkward when I open it, but after that I'll make sure to show you a detailed run by of the insides of it. Right, so I think these ones, we just undo the couplers. Like I say, this locomotive is not brand new out of the box, so it's already been installed with nice KD couplers. Sorry if I get out of focus, guys. I'm sort of standing up at a weird angle doing this sort of thing. Okay, get all that out of the way. Okay, now I think for the most part the shell pries away. Yeah, it does. The shell just pries away and it just lifts up and over. Okay. This fuel tank is very loose for some reason. We'll have to have a look at that. Okay, there she comes. All right, it's got so much detail on it. So that's it opened, and it's got a little quick plug into there. So the issue with these locos, let me rephrase, it's not an issue. The thing with these locomotives is these light boards actually run a very intricate ditch lighting system that's got little buttons that you can press. Oh, actually this one doesn't have it, but a lot of them has got a very intricate ditch lighting system that runs, that's being controlled by the processors in these boards. So bypassing these boards, actually you lose the accurate ditch lighting on the locomotive. So normally I try and just get rid of these boards, but with these type of locomotives it's actually more beneficial, I think, to keep the boards. Plus it's easier, you just unplug that, plug the loksound decoder in there, and done, you're laughing. But it sort of hampers the bit of performance when you leave these boards in. So yeah, we'll see where we go. I'll get the loksound out and we'll get that plugged in and try and get it fired up. Okay, so I've just unclipped that. I'm just about to get ready to get rid of this little decoder and just slide it out. So it's a little Digitrax decoder that someone's put in. Good little decoders, mobile decoders. But the owner of this beast wants sound to it. He wants it to come alive. You'll notice that I've got this hanging on the side. It can't go anywhere else. Very important to make sure that your pin goes in the right way, because normally what happens if you don't put it in the right way, you either risk blowing the decoder or you blow the lights on the locomotives. Okay, and that's pretty much it done. Now we just need to get this hidden away, and then obviously the bigger issue now is finding a little spot for the speakers, which we will be getting to in the next little section. Okay, so we're going to try and get some wires onto the speakers. So for this install we're going to take one of these loksound speakers. It's a 10 by 20 I think it is, with a little baffle box, everything included. So just bear with me a little bit, guys. Normally I think if you do this thing on your own it'll go a lot smoother. So this is probably one of the easier installs, I think. Your main challenge here will be finding the right space, the best space for the speaker. So from here what we'll do a bit of a tidy up. and like I said, try and get a bit of glue in everywhere. You don't want this thing not holding onto the wall somewhere, because it's going to vibrate, and that is going to be vibrations, and unfortunately it's not going to be good vibrations, no pun intended. Alright, so that clips in there, that clips in there, and then just press it in a little bit. Now when you press it in, be careful not to damage the diaphragm on the speaker, otherwise you're back to getting vibrations and reverb and all that sort of nonsense, and that's not what we want. So we'll just give this a second to dry. When you use super glue on models, don't rush to close things. Let it dry properly and let the crazy glue air out. Otherwise what happens is you get a misting on the windows and it looks horrible and you can't get rid of it. So while that's drying, we'll go on and create a bit of a loom for the wiring. Actually, I don't like that. Now, whenever you're doing this sort of a tidy up thing, you get another type of wiring which is actually specifically for electrical stuff, and that sort of wiring doesn't get snotty and sticky. A lot of electrical companies make it and sell it. I don't have some of that, so I'm just using normal electrical insulation type, but that's not really what you want to be using for intricate circuit boards and stuff. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. So do as I say, not as I do will apply here, I think. Just kidding, guys. I'll stick that one down there. One thing to note again, when you do this sort of install and you're putting electrical wire, you should probably try not to cover all your components with insulation wire, because if they get hot, they need to breathe. The only thing here that I can say is ESU loksound, they've got a thick plastic sleeve over the whole decoder, so it's not breathing anyways. So I think we're good in that department. But when you're dealing with other decoders, be mindful they need to breathe. Okay, so I'm going to pop the speaker into where I think it's going to sit, and I'm just going to quickly pop the shell closed and see if we're in trouble or if we are good. Okay guys, so with these things it doesn't always go according to plan. That's why you test fit. So the speaker that I was planning on using was too big to go in anyway, so I've opted to, I didn't have a choice. I had to go to a different type of speaker. Now the one I've taken is the high bass Soundtrax Tsunami high bass speaker. I made a little makeshift baffle box for it. I'll show you, just so that we get a bit more bass through it. So it's going to get glued down at the roof, at the back of on the roof, and hopefully that'll fit. I was hoping to put it in the fuel tank, but the fuel tank on this locomotive's got a little, I saw two wires going into the fuel tank, and I almost got happy for a second. I thought, oh, that's already got a speaker in it, but that's not the case. It's got a little switch in there, and I don't really know the function of that switch. It's something that I'm going to have to look into. These locomotives are very well engineered and very well built. So like I said, they got little switches going in for the ditch lights, and they got all sorts of things, and I'm just learning every day with these locomotives. The American locomotives I'm a bit more comfortable with. I've opened enough of them to be comfortable and know there's no surprises when I open them. These ones, not so much. The boards are new. The way they put the boards in, it's over-engineered, and that's not a bad thing, but it's over-engineered. Like, this board does not slide around. It's actually got little machined, you can't really see it there, sorry. It's got little machined tabs, so the whole board just drops in and it can't go anywhere. It's not sliding, it's not moving. You don't need clips to hold it. It's actually a really neat feature, but it makes things hard when I want to if I could slide the board that way half a mil, the speaker would fit, but I can't because of the frame. It's over-engineered for a specific function, and it's not giving you any leeway for anything other than that function, which is, it's good and bad. It's good if you're by the book kind of guy and everything just drops into place and done. But if you're doing aftermarket things like what we're doing now, then that makes it a bit harder, and it makes things a bit more complicated. Like, you can't sort of wing your way through it. You got to plan everything really well. All right, let's see if this one closes and we'll take it from there. Okay, so we've got that little speaker issue sorted, and I've got the speaker mounted at the back. You can actually see it through the grills, which is not ideal, but in this locomotive I don't think you're going to have much of a choice. Big thing to note here is when you put your speaker in, you're going to make sure that your truck moves freely. Okay, so I've got it on the loksound programmer track. The lock programmer is about to do its work. So the decoders are in, the speakers are in. Few things that I don't like. I can actually see some wiring there, which is something you're gonna have to tidy up. Ooh, she just did something. And the joys of having see-through grills is you can actually see through them. So there you can see that mongrel of a speaker sticking out. I don't think we're gonna do any better at this point in time. Let's see what she sounds like with the high bass speaker. So 8 is the startup. Oh wow, I can actually feel the table. It's got a bit of vibrate. That sounds nice. Right. Headlights. Bell. So let's see if we give it a bit of gas. I think I've got a bit of dirty wheels or dirty track or something. I wanted to catch it. So all the locomotives on ESU got built-in momentum. So I don't know if you can see those red lights, but they'll change the marker lights and it goes to white when you put it in reverse. Hopefully at some point I'll show you these on the track. So she's crawling along nicely. I'll just put it into a full brake mode. I do love those red marker lights on the nose. Looks so sinister. This looks evil. Alright, and swapping over. Speed step 1. Barely moving. So like I said, a little bit of dirty track. What I'll do is I'm going to engage the drive hold, which is an F9, and we'll just notch her through the notch settings. And back down. So I'll disengage the drive hold, which is F9 again. You can hear the brakes releasing. We're going into speed step 1. So I think that's it for this install. I'll do the shutdown function. 8 shuts it down. Thanks for watching.